and now experience sudden shock. In factories, warehouses, and businesses across America, forklifts are doing the job, moving almost everything from raw materials to finished product. No matter what their size, shape, or color, all these powered industrial trucks share some common characteristics. First, and most importantly, they're heavy, very heavy. If they tip over or collide with something, someone is likely to get hurt or killed. Each year, accidents involving powered industrial trucks claim numerous lives and injuries. Besides the loss of good people, materials, supplies, product, and equipment are lost or damaged. OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, has responded to these deaths and injuries by creating regulations that require companies to train employees before authorizing them to operate powered industrial trucks. Operators must be trained on each type of equipment they will use. Experience at another company does not qualify. Each employee must be trained at their present company. The authorization to operate equipment of this type comes with substantial responsibility. Each operator is primarily responsible for the safe operation of their powered industrial truck. This starts with the pre-shift inspection. No operator should begin work with a forklift without personally and thoroughly inspecting it. If you are that operator, don't take anyone's word for the condition of the unit. It is your responsibility. Check it yourself. Your very life is dependent on the safety of that machine. Other lives are dependent on the safety of that machine. You must check it yourself.
If the operator does not have good equipment, they can't operate it properly. And an accident could occur because possibly the brakes didn't work properly. It could have been something as minute as the horn not working properly. Horn doesn't work, you're driving down an aisle, someone walks in front of you, you can't warn them that you're in the area or of your presence, and you could possibly have an accident.
First, look over the forklift. Does everything look okay? Is anything out of place, bent, or broken? If the forklift appears to be ready to use, then begin the close inspection. Also, check any pressure gauges that may be present and thoroughly check for leaks. Check the steering, brakes, and tires. If you move the forklift, you will also be able to check for leaks underneath the unit. Check the battery charge. Or if your truck is powered by propane, gas, or diesel fuel, check the fuel level. Next, check the cables and chains. Use a block or stick to avoid placing your hands in danger. Check belts and hoses. Watch for deterioration and wear or cuts. A hose or chain break could spell disaster when moving or lifting a heavy load. Check all safety items such as rotating lights, headlights, and backup alarms. Do the gauges all work and read properly? Along with these, check the horn and any alarms on the forklift. These are vital warning devices. Seat belts and any other safety equipment present must be checked for proper working condition. Check the brake pedal. Remember, each operator must do this inspection before each shift. If you find anything wrong with the lift truck, do not use it until repairs have been made. It doesn't matter how small the repair, a small break can lead to a big tragedy.
They're checking the vehicle over, making sure that it steers properly, brakes properly, that everything works the way it should for their own safety. Secondly, for the safety of their co-workers. If they're operating a piece of machinery that should not be operated, not only are they in danger, but anyone they come in contact with as well. And third, for the overall maintenance of the vehicle, if we can catch anything going wrong early before it develops into something major, then it's easier to fix it.
6% of powered industrial truck deaths are attributed to mechanics who are killed while performing maintenance or repairs on a forklift. These units are extremely heavy, often weighing far more than an automobile. One slip can end a life. Lift trucks should be jacked and blocked properly. And if available, chocks should be utilized. Also, be certain to use only the proper jacks and jack stands. Weight is not the only difference between an automobile and a forklift. They are completely opposite in the way they steer. An automobile steers from the front, so the front end moves into the turn. A forklift steers from the rear, so the back end moves away from the turn. This allows the forklift to turn in a much tighter radius, making the forklift more maneuverable. This is very important when moving large loads through narrow aisles or other confined spaces. When making a turn, make sure the front of the lift truck stays close to the turn angle, as the counterweight will swing in the opposite direction of the turn. Operators must take that movement into account, or risk hitting something or someone. When getting on or off a forklift, never jump. Use a three-point stance to mount and dismount with 2 hands and 1 foot. Don't start the unit unless you are sure that you understand the operation of each control. If you are not sure, ask. If the forklift is equipped with a seatbelt, you must wear it. A seatbelt will help to hold you inside the protective framework of the forklift in case of a tip-over. If you attempt to jump clear in a tip-over, you may be caught under the forklift, or be struck by the overhead guard and be killed or seriously injured. Never start the forklift from anywhere but the driver's position. If you are standing close alongside the unit and it rolls forward, your foot could be crushed under the wheels. Remember, a forklift can be 2 or 3 times heavier than your car. A lot of that weight is over the steer wheels, the ones that are most likely to roll over your foot. Once started, raise the forks 2 to 4 inches before beginning to travel. 2 to 4 inches is only a suggested height. Always travel with the forks at the lowest safe height. The floors or surface where you use the forklift will determine that height. Stay in your traffic aisle. Obey posted speed limits. Stay at least 3 vehicle lengths behind the lift truck in front of you. If the forklift is low on propane, or the battery is low and needs recharging, certain safety precautions must be followed. Always wear the proper personal protective equipment. Never change a battery or propane tank without turning off the forklift. Do not allow any smoking near the refueling or recharging area. If the unit is propane powered, shut off the valve and then restart the forklift to use up the propane in the fuel line. Propane has a distinctive smell, so if there is a leak, you should be able to smell it. Propane is heavier than air and will settle to the ground if leaked or spilled. That is why propane tanks should never be stored where leaked propane might accumulate and create a hazard. When the line is disconnected, check the valves and the seals. Correct any problems before reusing the unit. Handle tanks carefully. Propane can cause a freeze burn if it comes in contact with skin. Once the new tank is mounted and connected, slowly open the shutoff valve and you are ready to operate. If the forklift is battery powered, don't forget personal protective equipment. Shut off the unit and no smoking. Also, as batteries contain a mixture of acid and water, you need to be aware of the location of the nearest flushing station. Position the forklift, lower the forks, and set the parking brake. Disconnect the battery and prepare to remove it. Always wear gloves when handling batteries. If you must lift the battery, make sure that it is secure. Never position your foot or any part of your body under the battery. On electric forklifts, the battery is a major part of the counterweight. They are extremely heavy. Some battery changing stations allow the operator to simply roll off the old battery and roll on the new one. If this is your situation, make sure to watch for pinch points, especially for your hand. Never charge a battery without a proper ventilation system in operation, as batteries emit hydrogen gas. Normally, water should never be added to acid, but the specific gravity of the acid-water mix in an industrial lift truck battery allows you to add water when necessary. If you intend to charge the battery on the forklift, make sure to uncover the battery to prevent heat buildup. Make sure metal objects do not come in contact with the terminals on the battery. Also, be certain the vent caps are not plugged. The battery charger is designed to be plugged into the battery. Never plug a charger directly into a forklift, as damage to the electrical components can occur. With a fully charged battery, the operator is now ready to begin work. When operating a forklift, the most important factor to consider is the center of gravity. This is a type of balance point for the forklift. This point moves depending on the motion, speed, load position, and other factors. This movement is critical because of the design of the forklifts. While automobiles are designed around a 4-point suspension, a sit-down rider has a 3-point suspension system. These 3 points form a triangle. As long as the center of gravity remains inside the triangle, the forklift will remain stable. If the center of gravity exits the triangle, even briefly, the forklift becomes unstable and will tip over. 24% of deaths are caused by forklifts overturning. When moving a load, it is essential to remember the movement of the center of gravity. Moving with a raised load can cause a disastrous accident. If you find that you are going to tip over, stay in the operator's compartment. Lean in the opposite direction of the tip motion. Hold on to the steering wheel. Don't jump off the truck. That's why it is important to travel and turn corners at a controlled speed, with any load positioned as low as possible. Think of the center of gravity having a vertical line through it. As the forklift tilts in some way, this vertical line of action must remain inside the balance triangle. If the forklift tilts and the load is raised, the line may exit the triangle. This will result in a tip over. If you have to cross an unlevel surface, keep this in mind. Forklifts are designed for one operator to move a load of materials, supplies, or product. Never give a ride to anyone. The only safe position is the operator's seat, with all arms and legs inside the frame. Also, unless the forklift has been equipped with an approved man-lift cage, never allow anyone to be raised on a pallet or the forks. 14% of deaths are caused by a worker falling from a forklift. Before picking up a load, check to be certain that the load does not exceed the capacity of the forklift. The forklift's capacity should be shown on the identification plate. Next, make sure the forks are positioned properly. The load should be centered, balanced, and secure. Be aware of any overhead obstructions. Raise the forks to the correct height and drive slowly into the load as far as possible. Raise the load slightly and tilt it back. Check behind you and then back out carefully. Lower the load to 2 to 4 inches above the floor for traveling. Do not travel with the load raised. If you can see safely over the load, travel forward. If the load is too tall, always travel in reverse. Never raise the load and travel looking under it. Pedestrians have the right of way. When traveling with a high load, your visibility will be restricted. These blind spots can hide a person, so be careful. Over 14% of lift truck-related fatalities are caused by workers being struck by lift trucks. Blind spots can also hide debris and other misplaced objects. A forklift operator has to be aware of all sorts of potential problems when operating. You must be extremely cautious as you enter truck trailers, rail cars, or elevators. It is the operator's responsibility to be sure that it is safe to enter. Forklifts are very heavy and require a solid, secure platform for moving loads. Before entering a truck trailer, for instance, the operator must personally check how secure the trailer is. Are the chocks in place? Manual or automatic, these are essential. Has the trailer been secured with a restraint system? Did the restraint engage properly? A bent ICC bar can cause the restraint to fail. If the restraint system fails, or if the truck driver pulls away from the dock, the forklift will fall to the pavement, usually several feet below. Each year,